From the halls of Montezuma.
Be it resolved that 2 battalions of Marines be raised, that they...
These were the men called Marines that secured our nation.
In this, I think, is glory, glory, glory.
Marines have always been there to take the forefront, be the tip of the spear.
To wear the title of Marine is probably going to be the proudest thing that I'll ever do in my life.
My buddy next to me, I'm going to be there for him, and he's going to be there for me.
In the Marine Corps, honor, courage, and commitment. That's what we believe. That's why we're Marines.
The thing that we do extremely well is take care of each other. Semper Fidelis is us continuing on. The bottom line is, brand new PFC joined the company, and they would treat him as a brother just like everybody else. And that's the legacy that they inherit by becoming a Marine,
I do solemnly swear
To support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic, against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine. On November 10th, 1775, a few young Americans got together, and they were called Marines.
Be it resolved that 2 battalions of Marines be raised, that they be enlisted and commissioned to serve for and during the present war between Great Britain and the colonies, that they be distinguished by the names of the 1st and 2nd battalions of American Marines.
These were the men called Marines. One whose words you will hear was Captain John W. Thomason. The time was 1918. The place, France. But what John Thomason wrote about his Marine comrades speaks for every man who has worn the uniform, from 1775 to today.
There were Northwesterners with straw-colored hair and delicately spoken chaps with the stamp of Eastern universities on them. There were large-boned fellows from Pacific Coast lumber camps and tall, lean Southerners who swore amazingly in gentle, drawling voices. There were husky farmers from the Corn Belt and youngsters who had sprung to arms from the necktie counter. And there were also a number of diverse people who ran curiously to type, with drilled shoulders and a bone-deep sunburn and a tolerant scorn of nearly everything on earth. They were the Leathernecks, the old breed of American regular, regarding the service as home. And they transmitted their temper and character and viewpoint to the high-hearted mass which filled the ranks of the Marine Brigade. There is nothing particularly glorious about sweaty fellows going along to fight. And yet they represent a great deal more than individuals mustered into a division. There is also what is behind those men, the old battles, long forgotten, that secured our nation. Traditions of things endured and things accomplished, such as regiments hand down forever, and that abstract thing called patriotism, which I have never heard combat soldiers mention. All this passes into the forward zone to the point of contact, where war is grit with horrors. And common men endure these horrors and overcome them, along with the insistent yearnings of the belly and the reasonable promptings of fear. And in this, I think, is glory.
What John Thomason described so long ago is alive today. The same iron character of the old Corps is still being passed on by dedicated drill instructors.
Do you understand that? Yes, sir! Get on my bus now!
If every effort to train you, even after some of you have given up on yourself. Now, platoon 3049.
They teach determination and commitment. This is where Marine team spirit begins.
Taking you alone will give you the ability to subdue your opponent without using deadly force.
It's here that these young Americans grasp a full understanding of what it is to be a Marine. It's here that they become once and for all Marines. That noble inheritance of tradition and honor is carefully handed down. All the valor and glory that Marines have accomplished on the battlefields of American history is a heritage that's still very much alive today. The Marine, physically tough enough and mentally strong enough to withstand the ugly violence and terrors of war.
They came from the east and the west, The North and the South, the cities and the farms, all drawn together by a common challenge and a privileged reward.
The right to be called Marine, to share the traditions of an elite corps.
And so it is today, as it was in the past. The Marine, still willing to fight against what seems to be insurmountable odds. The Marine, still able to move forward into the heat of conflict with a comradeship and loyalty that's still very much alive today. That fiery spirit and pride still burns through in the minds and hearts of Marines. Now and forever.
What you're about to see are actual comments by parents of real Marines.
Alex was a typical student.
In high school, Adrian was a typical teenager, but she was into sports.
Typical kid of that time.
His grades could have been much better. He had more excuses than you can imagine.
She could have focused more on the academics in high school.
I could never get her up in the morning to go to school.
He just was very hard to deal with for a while. He just kind of hung around with the wrong crowd.
To describe her as having an attitude problem would be an understatement. I was in my own battle zone, only I didn't have combat training.
When he was in high school, he was a typical young man. Didn't really know exactly where he was going, what he was going to do with his life. Out of the blue, it just all of a sudden it hit him. He wanted to be a Marine.
She walked into my job and looked at me and she just said, "Mom, don't cry, don't get upset, but I'm joining the Marines."
So then one day he comes home and tells me that he needed to talk to us, and he was wanting to join the Marines.
What she said was basically, don't be surprised, Dad. I'm joining the Marines. I've signed up and I'm going to go in a couple months. It was just a big shock.
We had intended for him to go straight to college out of high school.
I didn't expect military at all.
We thought that he was going to go on to college, and this had kind of fallen off to the wayside.
I was very nervous at first because I didn't know what to expect.
She was in college for about 2 years. She didn't love it, I think, the way she thought she was going to, and she was kind of looking for something.
She had some friends that went through boot camp and came back, and she saw how they had grown.
And she just couldn't get over the difference in their attitude, just their direction, you know. She said, I think I want to try this. And, you know, at first we kind of laughed at her and like, Adrian, you know, why the Marines, you know? And she said, they're the best. I'm like, well, okay.
She's a typical mother, worried about her child leaving her.
I was worried about, first, number one, he's never been away from home. And we have been real protective of him.
Well, I was a little surprised. I was a little apprehensive at first.
I was concerned because I've always been protective of my son.
I think I'm like every mom. I was worried, and at first I thought, oh, geez, what a decision.
I was scared to death.
Parents are going to be anxious.
Oh, yes.
They're going to be anxious. I don't care, father or mother.
When I really realized that Walt had made his mind up to join the Marines, then as a mother, I had to stand behind him.
He seemed absolutely certain in his mind and heart that that is what he wanted to do, so I had to support him.
He obviously had put a lot of forethought into this. It wasn't a quick decision that he'd made, but I do confess that I started to cry.
My wife said, we have to talk, and she told me what was going on, and he called later, and I asked, my first comment to him was, did you sign the papers yet? And he said, I knew you would be like this. And I said, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just wanted to know if you've really thought it through. And he said he talked to all the recruiters in all branches like at least twice. And after he did that and told us a few things, we were very satisfied with it, even though we were apprehensive. I thought he was making a good decision. He really wasn't committed to school at that time, and we thought it was a good thing for him to do, and we still do.
I cried for the first 2 days, and it was very hard for me to take it in that he was leaving me.
I was a little concerned because she had a problem with authority, how she was going to deal with all these people screaming in her face.
The morning he left for boot camp, I cried.
I just looked and I knew my little girl was leaving.
I was happy in a way and then sad in another.
because I didn't know what to expect.
Well, I was afraid they were taking him away from me, and I was going to miss him, and that's hard.
I was proud, and I was sad at the same time to see him go.
It was difficult for me to let go, but it helped me understand that a mother has to let go.
I was extremely worried about him. I know that the Marine Corps is not a place to be unless you want to be there. If you want to be there, it has all the opportunities in the world for you, but it's something that what you put in is what you get out.
His dad kept saying, let him grow up. This is going to make him a man.
I just hoped he was going to survive it.
We were more afraid than she was. She was ready to go.
When he first got there, his letters were like, I'm homesick. You know, Mama, I want to come home.
She wrote every single day. One day was, I hate it, I want to go home. And a couple days after that, well, it's not that bad, the food's okay. She started making friends.
Some of the letters we got, you could start seeing the boy becoming the man.
I could tell just from his letters that he wasn't a kid anymore.
You hear about the horrors of boot camp, but actually he wrote us in one letter, I'm having a good time so far. We were like, wow.
Each letter got a little more excited or a little more enthusiastic about the whole process.
His attitude, his commitment didn't surface till he got into the Marine Corps.
When I first saw him for the first time after 3 months, it was like, that's my son.
We saw the finished product out of boot camp, which was discipline, respect. He seemed proud of himself. That made us proud.
At the graduation, you were just beaming. I don't think you could be more proud of your kid.
I went to Jen's graduation, and that day was the proudest day a mother could have other than the day she was born. You just look at her standing there, and it's not your baby anymore.
Big feeling of pride.
You could see that it was a good experience for her.
And it was the same old Adrian, but a grown-up Adrian.
Definitely was the right thing for her to do. She grew up. Things meant more to her. She had focus, direction.
Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have tried to shy her away from going. I was a little worried about her actually signing up.
What Adrian went through and how she's grown, I think everybody should go through it.
At graduation, she was standing up straight, and even the way she talked, she was just like soft-spoken and so polite. We were laughing. It's like, you know, what have you done with my daughter?
I was very happy for him. He looked excellent.
Kids are going to be kids, and the Marine Corps turns them into grown-ups, and that's what it's all about.
When I first saw Leanne, I was very proud of her.
I was very surprised. The way she walked, the way she held herself, everything was perfect.
I think after boot camp, when I saw that he survived all these terrible things that I had anticipated, I was satisfied that he could survive in the Marine Corps.
So it was really great to see him. But he just looked fabulous and very proud to be a Marine. He knew he really accomplished something, and when we sat through the graduation and just saw all the families that were there supporting their kids, you know, and we're just happy to see how well they were doing. It made you feel very proud and great inside.
The Marine Corps training was very rigorous, and he expressed some reservations about being able to finish it, and he did with flying colors, and we're quite proud of him for doing that.
Whether he goes to college or not, he's getting a good basis for all life skills.
He's presently right now taking college classes. His goal is to have his degree.
I don't think there's anything better that a young man can do to gain the confidence they're going to need in life.
I've seen Ross go from a high school student with no direction to a man that knows where he's going, and I'm quite proud of him.
He's happy, and he's grown into a really fine young man.
After boot camp, he was a real gentleman, a person that I didn't think I had.
The friends he's made in the Marine Corps, the camaraderie, it's just something that he'll never forget.
The pride is absolutely unbelievable.
I was very proud, very proud. And I said, well, Damon, you've done it.
I've seen a big difference, a big difference in Brent, and I'm very proud of him. It's a great decision, and I'm glad we supported him.
We are extremely proud, and we wouldn't have missed it for the world.
If you've got a child, son or daughter, that gets into the Marine Corps, you're going to have somebody to be very proud of.
The Marine Corps, to me, is one of the best things he's ever chosen to do.
Estos son comentarios reales de padres con hijos en los Marines.
No había fin de semana que él no se iba a bailar o se iba con los amigos.
A veces no escuchaba y la influencia de los amigos.
Como cualquier muchacho se puso vago.
Tenía sus problemas haciendo tareas o terminando los trabajos. Se le hacía difícil terminarlos.
Hablaba demasiado en las clases.
Todos los chicos de esa edad son intranquilos. Digamos intranquilos en el sentido travieso, pero en la casa.
Él es una persona bien tímida, bien cerrado, calladito.
Carlos en la escuela superior era muy inteligente, trabajaba muy bien, bastante.
Sí, un poquito indisciplinada. Tenía que estar yo siempre encima de ella para el estudio y las tareas.
Él siempre, ha escuchado cuando uno le ha hablado, pero de decir voy a hacer esto, él lo decía de boca, pero nunca lo llegaba a cumplir.
Cuando recibió la noticia de que iba a ingresar a la Marina, en un momento me puse triste.
Pero cuando de un momento a otro él vino y me dijo, me inscribí en la Marina, no me gustó.
Primeramente yo me opuse, porque yo decía, se me va lejos y no lo voy a ver más. Y tantas cosas que uno se le cruzan por la mente, ¿no? Pero después decidí respetar su decisión, porque para eso somos los padres, respetar las decisiones de nuestros hijos.
Yo me sentí súper orgulloso, lo digo sinceramente.
Yo me sentí un poco triste.
O sea que sí, él muy bromista, siempre. Y pensaba que él lo estaba diciendo jugando.
Mi reacción fue completamente negativa.
Cuando ella terminó su high school, cuando yo creía que ella iba a matricularse para colegio, un día me dijo, no, yo voy a alistarme en la Marina, yo creo que es lo que me gusta y eso es lo que yo voy a hacer.
Yo había hablado con él y le había explicado de que el futuro él se lo cree él mismo, porque los pasos que él va a dar una vez que salga de la escuela superior van a ser unos pasos bien decisivos en la vida de él.
Y me dijo, mami, por favor, no llores, no te pongas a llorar, porque si tú vas a llorar, me vas a desanimar a mí y tienes que alentarme, porque esa es la carrera que yo he tomado, he decidido irme y yo sé que es para el futuro mío.
Me deprimí bastante, pero en el fondo, de cierto modo, pensaba que él había elegido algo bueno para él.
Y él me abrazó, me besó, toda la familia lloró, pero él nos dio fuerza. Y él nos dijo, esto es lo que yo quiero hacer, por favor comprendan y denme el apoyo necesario. Eso nos dio mucha fuerza ese día.
Bueno, sentí que parte de mi corazón se iba con ella.
Para mí fue una emoción y un sentimiento bien grande que no se lo puedo repetir.
Como madre, la otra persona que no ha pasado por lo que yo estoy pasando no lo comprende. Solamente esa persona que lo pasa no puede comprender los sentimientos que uno en ese momento siente. Pero supe comprenderlo.
Se fue por unos 3 meses, lo extrañé un poco, pero a la larga me escribía y me decía que estaba bien y me sentía más tranquila.
Sobre el cambio de él veo radicalmente su carácter y su manera de pensar. O sea, lo veo más decidido, más positivo en sus cosas que él quiere ahora y en el futuro realizar. Esa decisión que no la tenía antes de partir, ahora lo veo decidido a un futuro mucho mejor.
Yo noté principalmente cuando fui a la graduación de que él ya no era el muchacho de antes, él ha cambiado rotundamente.
Él vino completamente cambiado. Cuando yo en la mañana entré al cuarto a hacerle su cama, ya su cama había estado hecha. Nunca en su vida él había hecho su cama. Recogió su ropa y la metió a la máquina de lavar, lo que nunca ha hecho. Ya él había estado despierto a las 6 de la mañana y yo a veces eran las 12 del día y no lo podía despertar.
Pienso que ha sido completamente un cambio muy positivo en la vida de mi hijo.
Y no ve nada negativo, nada que él no pueda alcanzar. Y para mí eso me agrada, porque sé que tiene algo en su pensamiento, ¿no? Que quiere llegar a terminar o quiera en el futuro. Yo me siento alegre, orgullosa, porque veo que él ha logrado lo que se proponía.
Es el orgullo más grande que ninguna madre puede tener cuando su hijo regresa de los Marines, del entrenamiento, y ve que su hijo ha cambiado por completo.
Que era más ordenada, más disciplinada, más cuidadosa en su aspecto personal.
Bueno, yo encontré un cambio bello, porque él vino diferente, como nunca vino. Y lo vi cambiado por completo.
Como hispanos, pues es un orgullo para nosotros, ¿no? Tener un hijo marín.
Tiene sus cualidades, según ellos, su respeto ante todo.
Yo estoy bien orgullosa de mi hermano, le quiero bastante y yo siempre le dije que si quería ir a los Marines, que vaya, que haga lo que él quería hacer en el futuro.
Cuando yo veo a un Marine en la calle, yo me siento como estuvieran viendo a mi hijo. Ese orgullo que verlos con ese uniforme bien gallardo que se ven.
El día de la graduación, cuando yo vi a David marchar, un niño que no podía ni poner la izquierda ni a la derecha junta, yo me sentí como la madre más feliz, más orgullosa, más potente. Y las lágrimas, sí, eran lágrimas, pero eran lágrimas de felicidad y de orgullo y también de belleza de saber que ese era mi hijo.
Pero los Marines sí lo cambiaron demasiado, lo volvieron una persona muy responsable, hecho un líder totalmente.
El entrenamiento básico de los Marines es exigente y la disciplina estricta. Al final de ese entrenamiento riguroso surge un espíritu de honor, coraje, compromiso y el orgullo de ser uno de los elegidos, los Marines.
I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to make a difference.
I joined the Marine Corps because I heard about the brotherhood and the camaraderie.
Joined the Marine Corps because I needed to do something worth doing.
I joined the Marines because I was looking for a challenge. I got what I was looking for.
I joined the Marine Corps because I wanted to see the world.
I wanted to travel.
Not everybody can be a Marine.
I could have joined any other branch, but I chose the Marine Corps because if you want to be the best, you have to join the best.
If you're considering joining the Marines, it's a good place to come, and it's just a big brotherhood.
The Marine Corps is honor, courage, and commitment. That's what it's all about. And the Marine Corps is all about patriotism. It's all about the red, white, and blue.
The mentality of the Marine Corps sets us apart. The pride, the tradition, the need to be the best, because we are the best and we want to stay that way.
For over 230 years, the country has depended on us to be ready, and that's why we're here today, to be ready.
The Marine Corps is all about esprit de corps.
Being a Marine is about going above and beyond.
Being a Marine is a step above the rest.
It's all about serving the country, having pride, holding your head up high, knowing that you're a United States Marine.
This is Paris Island, Marine Corps Recruit Depot. The transition from civilian into Marine starts right here.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm Private First Class Lund, Alpha Company, United States Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Corps because it's the #1 most respected branch of service. I've always wanted to do something with my life, and I've always set high goals.
Confidence and bearing is the key, you understand me?
Yes, sir! When you join, you don't exactly know what's going to happen.
Yes, sir!
onto the island.